In the fading light of Lake Victoria, Nyamgondo's weathered figure stands as a testament to years of hard work and endurance. His face, marked by lines of exhaustion and resilience, tells a story all its own. A story of countless mornings casting his nets, of empty catches and humble meals, and of a spirit unbroken despite the struggles. His clothes, threadbare and worn, bear the evidence of a life bound to the lake's rhythms, a life defined by survival rather than abundance. His eyes, deep and searching, reveal a man who has come to terms with solitude and silence, yet harbors a quiet hope for something beyond the horizon. Around him, the warm hues of the sunset wrap the scene in a quiet majesty, as if the lake itself respects his endurance. The small fishing hut behind him, barely more than a shelter, adds another layer of quiet determination. Built by his own hands, it stands as his only refuge, a place where he dreams, rests, and gathers the strength to face each new day. In this moment, as he pulls in his net and the lake mirrors the sky's vibrant colors, Nyamgondo is more than a fisherman. He is a guardian of stories untold, a man connected to nature, waiting for something unknown to break the cycle. Nyamgondho Wuod Ombare was a fisherman who lived by Lake Victoria. Though strong and hard-working, he was poor, catching just enough fish to survive. Villagers whispered about his daily struggles and wondered why he remained so poor despite his dedication. As Nyamgondo was about to give up and head home one evening, he cast his net one last time. To his surprise, his net felt heavy. Expecting a bountiful catch, he pulled with all his might, but what he found was beyond imagination. From the net emerged a stunningly beautiful woman, dressed in shimmering garments like the scales of a fish. She looked at him with wise, gentle eyes. "Release me, Nyamgondo," she said in a soft, otherworldly voice. "I am a spirit from this lake. Set me free together with my goat, and I will marry you and bring you wealth beyond measure." Nyamgondo, filled with curiosity, overcame by shock and filled with adrenaline, despite his empty stomach, agreed to release the woman. True to her word, she became his wife, Nyar Migondo, as the tribesmen would call her. The goat reproduced very fast that it brought him incredible riches. Cattle, food, and gold filled his once empty hut, and he became the wealthiest man in the village. However, there was one secret that both had between them. Under the light of the full moon, Nyar Migondo, the beautiful goddess, would undergo a haunting transformation. Between midnight and 3 a.m., her youthful beauty would fade, and she would become an old, haggard woman, cloaked in shadows. Her once radiant features turn wrinkled, her hair grows thin, and her gaze carries centuries of wisdom and sorrow. Beside her, Nyamgondo would stand solemnly, honoring his vow to keep her secret forever, their silent bond unbroken as they shared this hidden, magical curse under the moon's watchful eye. Nyamgondo's fortune grew. According to the Luo custom, a wealthy man's social responsibility was to care for as many women as feasible. Hence, Nyar Migondo did not dispute Nyamgondo's social obligation to marry several wives. However, she forewarned him merely to never treat her disrespectfully or exploit the fact that he had discovered her in a lake against her in the future. She went so far as to tell him that the only thing that could make her leave him was if he did any of them. Officially, Nyamgondo was the wealthiest individual in Luo territory. According to legend, the wealth went to his head. He became haughty and cocky. Soon after, he even began going to drinking parties nearly every day and returning home intoxicated. Coming from the drinking spurs, he would even hurl insults at his neighbors and chant his own praises, calling them peasants. On a fateful night, Nyam Gondo came home late and heavily drunk as usual to discover that all of his wives had locked their doors. His money and self-importance caused him to instinctively begin insulting everyone, and in his fit of wrath, he said the words that would forever alter his course in life. What sort of ignorance is this? You won't even open the door for me, you hideous thing I found in the lake. Given that Nyam Gondo had violated the sole rule she had set for him, regardless of how far she had gone to change his life, it goes without saying that this infuriated Nyar Migondo. Nyar Migondo came out of her hut extremely furious upon hearing Nyam Gondo's words and asked in an authoritative voice, "What did you just say and what were our terms of engagement?" Before she could finish her question, dark, heavy clouds appeared in the sky and a violent thunderstorm broke out. Lightning also struck several trees and houses in the vicinity. This was a sign that the gods and ancestors were very angry. At this point, Nyam Gondo, who had already had too much to drink, did not apologize and added more insults. He told her that he was now the richest man in the land, and that he really didn't need such an ugly woman, and that she could leave if she wanted. Hearing this, Nyar Migondo returned to her hut, took her walking stick, pipe, and some of her belongings, and returned to the lake. But to Nyam Gondo's surprise, all the things she had brought to Nyam Gondo's house followed her back to the lake. They included goats, cows, sheep, chickens, dogs, cats, and even the children she had with Nyam Gondo. Seeing all his possessions flowing into the lake, Nyam Gondo followed them to try to stop them, but all his efforts were in vain, and his first wife, children, and animals disappeared into the deep waters of Lake Victoria. Hearing the despair of reality, Nyam Gondo gasped in shock. At that moment, he also knew that his old faithful friends, poor and miserable, had returned and were patiently waiting for him in their empty houses. He even tried to follow her into the lake, but it was too late. He tried to call her by name and beg her forgiveness, but she was already gone. Legend has it that Nyam Gondo felt the pain of total loss. He stood at the water's edge, resting his chin on his walking stick and crying his eyes out, when he mysteriously transformed into a tree. To this day, the shores of Lake Victoria still bear the footprints of Nyam Gondo's family and the animals that entered the lake. The same show also features the tree that Nyam Gondo transformed into. So who was this mysterious woman from the lake? Well, who she was and where she came from is unknown to this day. But legend has it that she must have been a goddess. Some elders of the Luo community even believe that she may be the same woman responsible for other supernatural happenings at the shows of Lake Victoria, such as the sinking of the Simbi Nyama in what is now Rachuonyo district. If we believe these elders, the Lady of the Lake is Anyango Nyar Gwasi, which literally means Anyango, daughter of Gwasi. These are the moral lessons we learn from this tale. 1. Respect for agreements. Nyam Gondo's prosperity was tied to his commitment to respect Nyar Migondo. Breaking this agreement led to his downfall, emphasizing the importance of honoring promises. 2. Humility and wealth. Nyam Gondo's transformation from humble fisherman to a wealthy, arrogant man shows that true wealth is not only material, but also lies in maintaining humility. 3. Gratitude and respect for benefactors. Nyam Gondo's insults toward Nyar Migondo reveal the dangers of ingratitude. His loss of all possessions reinforces the value of appreciating those who contribute to our success. 4. Consequences of pride. His arrogance and disregard for his benefactor highlight how unchecked pride can lead to devastating consequences. 5. Enduring legacy of actions. Nyam Gondo's transformation into a tree symbolizes how actions, especially those stemming from pride or disrespect, can leave lasting consequences in one's legacy. Thank you for watching this story. Let me know what you have learned. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with your family and friends. See you in the next video.